What's up everyone, my name's Liam the Soccer Coach and welcome back to session 7. With the weather being so nice outside, I decided to make another video, made the most of the weather we've been given, as the forecast had predicted we'd have rain for the rest of the week. So with the clear skies and the good surface to use in my front garden, I thought I'd make the most of it and get a new activity. Today's session is designed for both completing it by yourself or also completing it with other people. If you've got brothers or sisters that you think would like to join in, you can also complete this activity with them and take it in turns to score against each other and see how you can tally up your scores, as you will see with the activity. There are also 3 levels to the activity, so if you wanted to complete an easier task or if you wanted to challenge yourself with a bit of a harder task, there will be 3 different levels of difficulties to today's activity. So on your screen now, a list of the equipment for today's session is going to appear, and it may vary depending on which level of difficulty you want to choose for the activity, starting by needing 1 ball, and you're also then going to need 7 cones, which are going to be used to mount the items for our activity, and the 7 items are going to be needed to be used as bowling pins. The bowling pins are obviously going to replicate for our session called foot bowling. It will become a little bit clearer why you will need those items once I explain the activity. But before we get started with our activity, obviously we're going to need to do a little bit of a warm-up, so I'm going to set out 6 of my 7 cones here to get ready for the warm-up. So for our warm-up, we're going to set out 6 cones, as you can see here, 2 cones far of each side of our area and 4 cones closer together in the middle. And we're simply going to start by jogging 4 lengths, usually like we would in all of our other activities. This is the best and easiest or most simple way of getting ourselves started for each of our warm-ups. After we've completed our 4 jogging lengths, we're then going to use our 4 middle cones to do side steps through the cones, and we're going to complete this for 4 lengths. So as you can see, I'm doing side steps in and out of the cones, and it's a little bit different than how we usually do our side steps, but it adds a bit of variation and just makes things a little bit different for this session. After I've completed my side steps and also put the cone back in the middle from where I hit it in the first section, we are going to go straight into our heel flicks. So, like we usually would, we're going to complete 4 lengths of heel flicks between the 2 furthest cones. We're going to complete these 4 lengths before moving on to the next part of the warm-up. Once we've completed our heel flicks, we're going to go straight into our lunges, which we each hold for 3 seconds. When we hold the lunge for 3 seconds, it makes sure that we're getting the full benefit of each lunge. We're going to complete 2 full lengths of lunges, making sure we hold each lunge for a total of 3 seconds. As you can see, as I go down here and hold for 3 seconds, each time I'm counting in my head to make sure that each lunge is equal, and I'm going to make my way back to complete the 2 lengths. After I've completed my lunges, I'm going to grab my ball and do a little bit of quick dribbling in and out of the middle cones and to the furthest cones, and we're going to complete 2 full lengths of this to start with, and once we completed our first 2 lengths, we're going to simply repeat again to complete 4 lengths. So as you can see here, I'm keeping close control of the ball, just getting used to the surface that I'm playing on, ready for the activity, and I'm going to come back to complete all 4 of my lengths. So today's activity is called foot bowling, and the name for this is given because it is a football or soccer replication of bowling. We're going to lay out our cones here, as you can see, and for this activity I'm going to be using other balls as the bowling pins, but if you haven't got that many balls at home, you can use items as I described in the equipment list to simply replace the balls that I am using on top of the cones. As the example I'm giving here, I'm simply going to get out as many balls as I have in my bag and place them on top of the cones to act as bowling pins. A good replacement that I find for the balls to use as bowling pins, if you haven't got this many balls at home, is actually to use bottles. It also means that you won't need to use the cones, as the bottles will stand up by themselves on the surface and they'll be a good replacement for the balls. It is also key to remember that this activity is designed for you to complete either by yourself or with a partner, as you are able to then keep scores against each other and challenge each other to see who can get the best scores. So here is level 1. You can see that I've set out 7 balls on the cones to act as bowling pins, and they're all quite narrow and close together. It's sort of a first sort of taster level and a starter to see how well I can do. I'm going to kick my ball towards the balls that are acting as bowling pins, and I managed to score 5 out of 7 for my first level. For level 2, the difficulty is going to increase slightly as the 7 balls are going to be slightly separated and further apart. As I kick towards, I managed to get a score of 3 out of 7, which is a bit harder than the last. Level 3 is going to be even harder. We're going to take away one of the balls so we only have 6, and we're going to separate them quite far apart. So it's going to be more strategic this time. It's going to be much harder to hit them all off, and you're going to have to think a lot more about how you're going to try and approach your shot. As you can see here, I aim for one ball so that it knocks over to the right, and the ball that I kick knocks to the left, and I managed to score myself 3 out of 6. For this challenge is to remember that it can be completed individually or against other people. You can take a certain amount of shots each for each round and tally up your scores, and an extra challenge can be to make your own bonus round where cones are split up in a random order. So for our warm down, we're going to set out a square of 4 cones that we already have, and we're going to simply start by jogging forward, sidestepping, jogging backwards, and sidestepping again. And we're going to complete this square twice, which we have previously done in a different session. Once we've completed our 2 squares, we're going to tone it down by walking forward and then lunging to the side. We're going to complete this square for 1 square, and remember to hold each lunge like in our warm up for a total of 3 seconds so we can get the benefit of each lunge. Once we've completed our lunges, we're then going to go into a bit of ball control for our warm down. We're going to simply ball roll to the side and dribble forwards and backwards. We're going to complete this square twice, and it means that we're doing a little bit of ball work to add to the activity that we've completed, and we're also making the most benefit of the time that we're given during the warm down to also test ourselves and see some of the skills that we can use. So thank you all for watching this activity. I hope you enjoyed the activity, whether it is either by yourself or with others whilst you complete it, and make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and also share these activities with your friends and family so that we can get as many people involved as possible. But for now, I will see you all in the next activity.